What's up everybody, and thanks for clicking on the video. Now that the state of Xbox Series is done for the time being, I thought I owed you all a quick channel update before we get back to regular gaming videos. Speaking of which, next week's deep dive is one I really recommend if you enjoy the state of Xbox Series. It's going to be a controversial one.
On console, I've seen growth slow down on Game Pass, mainly because at some point you've just reached everybody on console who wants to subscribe.
In regards to the state of Xbox Developer Series though, obviously, the elephant in the room is Xbox's acquisition of Activision Blizzard King, and whether the CMA, EU, FTC, or a combination of the three will end up successfully blocking the deal for Xbox and Microsoft as a whole. Personally, I think the chances of Xbox successfully acquiring Activision with concessions are still higher than the deal being blocked. But as of February 2023, that block is still far too high, as I imagine Xbox, Activision, and probably even PlayStation and Sony as a whole didn't expect this level of examination and pushback by the three largest competition authorities in the world. In fact, I know Xbox didn't, as they weren't even talking about Call of Duty on PlayStation before there was any government involvement. I therefore can't justify spending the roughly 20 hours it takes to make a video on an Activision developer, only for it to become completely irrelevant the moment the deal is blocked. If Xbox's acquisition does go through though, I'll make it the priority to restart the state of Xbox Series and bring these Activision developers into the fold as soon as possible. I certainly have a lot to say about Infinity Ward and Raven in particular. And just for the final point on the Xbox Activision deal, my next video will be discussing my own thoughts on the actual purchase, as well as the timeline of events so far. If you liked any of my videos in the state of Xbox Series, I really recommend you watch it when it releases. I seem to have a very unique take on the acquisition, and I'll be bringing up points I haven't seen anyone else discuss.
Microsoft making future Bethesda games like the next Elder Scrolls exclusive to Game Pass.
One of the reasons people pick different consoles is looking at the exclusive games that are available. If you think about Nintendo, a platform I love, I mean, people think of Zelda, Mario. These are iconic franchises that are available on those platforms. For us, we have franchises like Halo and Forza and things that people love, and Sony has their own set of exclusive franchises. So as we're shipping things, we will definitely have new exclusive franchises coming to Xbox.
Now, in regards to the promised State of PlayStation Studio series, I'd ideally like to start this after PlayStation's next showcase, as when it comes to the majority of their developers, we don't know what their next game will be. However, I will start the series by the end of the fiscal year at the latest. By the end of March, it will have been 4 months since Ragnarok's release, which basically signaled the end of Phase 1 of Sony's first-party output for the PS5. It will also be just over a month after PSVR 2's launch. I just can't imagine that we wouldn't have heard at least rumblings of a showcase by that point. After all, it's already been over 500 days since the last one, and both Nintendo and Microsoft have at least had their own version of a state of play size presentation this year already. Hopefully we hear something from PlayStation soon, but if not, we can still discuss big studios like Naughty Dog and Insomniac, as we know that The Last of Us Factions and Spider-Man 2 will be their next games respectively.
Gonna break this time loop before it breaks me.
I am also working on some one-off videos where I do a deep dive into other aspects of the games industry, like looking into the Saints Row writing team for a unique analysis on what went wrong with the 2022 release, or what exactly has happened to Ubisoft over the past 5 or so years, and if they can even recover to become one of the more relevant publishers again. There will also be some tier list videos like my personal top 5 Xbox and PlayStation first-party developers, and ranking the mainline games in the Resident Evil series. Finally, I'll also start a mini-series on Xbox's now defunct studios like Lionhead, which will be very similar in tone to the State of Xbox series that originally brought you to the channel. If any of these sound particularly interesting, or if there's another topic you'd like me to cover, leave a comment to let me know and I can prioritize them.
Fable the Journey works great about 75% of the time, but the other 25% it just flips out as if it's forgotten its calibration settings. Your spells start flying to the edges of the screen no matter where you're aiming, and you can't hit a damn thing.
In the meantime, thank you so much for your support so far, and I hope this channel can continue growing into one that's unique among the other gaming channels on YouTube. one that focuses more on deep dive video essays into the games industry as a whole, as opposed to the standard reviews and off the cuff discussions of today's headlines that you usually see. Although I'm sure there'll be some of that too. And if you missed it, watch this video here to potentially win a AAA game from me. I'm giving lots of them away to commemorate the current end of the state of Xbox Series. Good luck, and I'll see you in the next video where I discuss why it's Xbox, and more precisely Xbox leadership's fault if they fail to acquire Activision.